As the regular season draws closer and closer, I guess you could say the playoffs draws closer and closer to a completion, we're going to see who will master Kansas and get themselves into a playoff opportunity. Hello everyone and welcome to ABN Studios for the Across the Plains 200 for the ARCS Midwest Barbecue A² Cup Series. My name is Kevin Young, bringing you all the actions and the festivities that you see usually here. 4 minutes ago in action, Ross Baxter currently on a qualifying lap. That is why we are focused on him right now. We got 3:50 to go, and we're going to see who can qualify their spot in. As you can see, Baxter clips the wall there. Could lead to an invalidation as he comes across the line. First lap will not count, so we'll have to use the second lap to go on a banker here. As you can see, we have advanced through the playoffs. We're now in the round of 12. 4 drivers were eliminated last week, and now we are down to 12 drivers fighting for a championship. We'll go over the bracket. We'll go over the playoff bracket and the silver bracket in a second here as we wait for Ross Baxter to finish up his flying lap here. A lot of drivers are going to use this opportunity to try to get the momentum in the right direction now that a lot of the deficits have been eliminated. As Baxter comes across the line, it's going to be P19 for the number 60 driver, as he will slot his machine there. 24 cars have already qualified. 2 drivers have not took a lap yet and presumably will not take a lap. So we'll cut on to last week's race winner, Zach Millett, who had to go for a very eventful race, having to start after having a disconnection at the opening warm-up lap. Had to go from last on the grid, starting in the pit lane after qualifying provisional pole, all the way to win the race. And you can see him right now on the track. So, while we wait for this opportunity, we'll ride on board with the driver of the 31 here. We'll go inside the cockpit here and let him show you what a lap around here. As you can see, Kansas is a multi-groove racetrack. You'll see drivers trying to find the high line and the low line, and can be a bit indicative what these drivers will have to deal with when we go to Homestead in about 5 weeks' time. Yes, 5 weeks' time, where drivers will try to make different lines work, try to go high, go low, try whatever they can do, and you know right now, as we see riding aboard here with Zach Millett, he loves running that low side here. I mean, high line, I should say. Some drivers like run the low, had different qualifying runs in my mind. As you can see, also last week, race run the Glen. But you see, pinching that high line is right now he is the only driver on a flying lap ride, actually on a warm-up lap here, as he's already completed his qualifying run. It's currently P6, so using this extra opportunity to take some laps and get used to the car here. So while we have this minute and some change to go here, we'll take a quick look at the driver standings coming in tonight. As if you were here last week, you can see what has played and what has transpired, with Hawk, Feemster, Markowski, and Wright all being eliminated, with now the field of 12 being recycled and reorganized into this situation. John Hagan has a 29-point line above the cut line. He should be looking good to make it to the next round. Zach Millett has a 16-point cut line. Then after that, it's all hands on deck. Proudfoot third, only 6 points above the cut line. And then pretty much after Sharp with 3, Zier all the way to Oberstadt can be separated by 6 points. So if you're here tonight, this is a crucial race. You could put yourself within a shout, or if everything goes metaphorically up, you could be having to be a driver that is going to have to qualify. Basically make next week at Bristol a must-win. Further on, we'll take a look at the silver bracket right now as well. You can see right now it's still very tight at the moment. Brenton Roberts, with another good race last week, was able to thoroughly pull his gap ahead of Ryan Pinnell. The retirement man going to hit the retirement home after this season in A² competition. He's looking to maybe try to steal a silver bracket here, try to qualify for that and the All-Star race. We'll see how that works. It's also close between Mongold in 3rd, Withers in 4th, Cody Pinnell in 5th. This is a very, very close race indeed between these drivers in the silver bracket. So that is how the silver and the regular playoff bracket look right now. Again, drivers denoted in green are drivers that are still in the playoffs. And as for the 4 drivers that were eliminated last week, they are not put in the silver bracket, so they are just running for pride and end of season rewards. So they are going to go hard for the next 4 weeks, even though they've lost the championship. Anyway, qualifying is officially concluded. Adams, Michelle, Hagan, Wansing, Sharp here top 5, as we are going to get ready for the warm-up. So now in warm-up, 4 and some change to go here. Obviously, the session is a very quick one here. Some drivers will use this opportunity to go and take some little laps here to get some extra practice. Daniel Michelle obviously was not here last week at the Watkins Glen and almost caused his playoff chances to go up in smoke. but he is back here, and on a cycle of tracks you could say he definitely is strong at. This is being a very strong track from him in the short tracks, and Michelle could be a driver to watch out for. Steph Wanzing, another driver you can never count out, a two-time champion right now in the Powerade machine. Ditch the red Coca-Cola machine, hoping this brings him a little bit more luck. Now going inverted, black and red. John Hagen obviously had a very uneventful Watkins Glen last week. Just a poor run out of his usual performances, but back here as well, he's firing off quite well. Going to go through all the playoff drivers here. Jeremy Braille, rumor has come down the pipeline. This will be his last season full-time in the A-Squared Cup Series. So obviously a one-time champion looking to do what Jeff Gordon couldn't and a few other drivers couldn't and end it on a championship performance. Zach Millett, the new young gun in the series, along with Hagen, right now on the track here as well, has swept the last 2 rounds of the playoffs, is looking to try to make it 3 in a row and lock himself into the round of 8. Josh Gaiman, you'll see him here as well, docking some similar colors here, using the purple and gold. Had a great run at the Glen here and is looking to keep that form going, trying to go back-to-back in the Final Four in the past 2 seasons. Continue on the board, Brandon Proudfoot here, late addition, was almost looked like he wasn't going to make it, but he is back here in his Twisted Metal machine. Also had a great run last week at the Glen between him, Gaiman, and Zach Millett, and is looking to keep that good run of form going. Finished through the last few drivers, Lloyd Pelletier Sharp leaving the pit lane here, 3 above the cut line. It's been very quietly fast this season, 1 at Phoenix, looking to keep that form going. And to finish up the playoff drivers here, I think we got Tom Sears left here, obviously not on track right now, but Tom Sears, Lurkin Tom, looking to try to keep this good run going after getting a nice top 10 run at Watkins Glen last week. That should do it for the playoff drivers, making sure I've not missed a name here. 11 out of the 12 are here tonight as playoff drivers. Only one not here, it seems, is Stefan Oberstedt in the number 3 machine. Obviously, he was 3 points down on the cut line, made it in by the chin of his chinny chin last week, and is going to be presumably in a must-win situation at Bristol, which it is a track he's favored at. He obviously pulled out some great magic last year at Bristol to get himself into the round of 8. So if anyone could find victory lane at Bristol, Stefan Oberstedt can. So he'll be the only one of the playoff drivers not here tonight. Just we'll make that quickly sure. Yep, we have 11 to 12. Unless Oberstedt joins in the next 2 minutes, he will be in a big hole come Bristol next week. Obviously, Michelle taking advantage and pitting in here. This track is not the most trickiest pit lane, but it can also catch you out napping if you're not careful. And with green flag pit stops, possibly on the plenty around Kansas, you do not want to take that opportunity and be in a bad spot and give yourself a speeding penalty and really hurt your chances for a championship. Minutes of change to go. Let's look at some other paint schemes here as well. We'll just kind of go through the field here. Obviously, Kevin Feemster rocking his usual 21 machine here. Landmaster scheme. Saw someone in a U.S. men's, U.S. Olympic team, as we could say here. I'm just going to see if we can find who that was. Markowski in the Youngstown team. Oh, forgot about Brandon Featherplace as well. He's also a playoff driver as well. Regular season champion 2 seasons ago. Wanting to continue that form going. He is also looking to try to make it to the round of 8. Now, back to what I was trying to do, find the playoff schemes. Like James Kerr, no, he's usually in his MIA Missing in Action Veterans Tribute scheme. Was it Catania? Nope, he's using the TRD scheme. I guess we'll see it during the race here. Oh, I think it was Mongold, actually. It was Mongold. Also Mongold ditching the Dr. Pepper colors this week for a Team USA scheme here, as the Olympics are obviously happening last weekend and this weekend, representing the United States here, representing the United States colors for their Olympic endeavors for the next couple days. 40 seconds to go here in the heartland of Kansas. Few drivers making last-second adjustments here, trying to get going. This man right now, the fastest in warm-up. It's Millett, Michelle, Wanzing, Hagen, Feemster, your top 5 in warm-up. So we'll see as those times work out. Tom Sears actually now made it on the track here. You can see him running a similar paint scheme he's ran last week, except with a slight different variation, as obviously it's a weird combination. It's his Darlington scheme, but obviously taking Darlington throwback, adding a little bit of extra colors to it on that far side. So warm about to officially conclude here, as we'll take one look at Bren Roberts, a silver playoff bracket leader, as we have now officially concluded warm-up, and we are going to get ready for the main festivities. Millett, your fastest in warm-up, but Jonathan Adams, our pole sitter, I don't remember his name. Jonathan Adams, our pole sitter, and we're going to see it 134 laps next. So as we get ready to go here for the main festivities, 134 laps await these drivers. We'll take a quick look at the starting grid and see where all the drivers are all the 26 drivers will fire off here in tonight's festivities. So as you can see here, Jonathan Adams and Danny Michelle, they'll be both front row here for the start of the field. Beatron and Line Power having back-to-back battles in the Constructors. They'll be in row 1. Hagen and Seth Wansing for Tombstone will be in row number 2. Alyssa Pelletier-Sharp and Zach Mill will be in row number 3. Dale Markowski and Brandon Proudfoot will be in row number 4. Brendan Roberts and John Schkaman will be in row number 5. Lilac Sear and Tom Sears will round out the first 6 rows. As we move further down the grid, we got Ryan Pennell and Michael Cheeseburger Lawrence in row 7, Brandon Featherplace and Austin Mongold in row 8, Davey Hawk and James Wright in row number 9, Ross Baxter and Tristan Catania in row 10, Kevin Feemster and Jeremy Brown with a bit of a poor qualifying run, lowest of the 11 playoff drivers in the field tonight. He'll be firing off in P22. And as we move further down, James Kerr and Alfred George in the next row, row 12, and Josh Battles and Mike LaJoy will round out the field in row 13, firing off 25th and 26th, respectively. So we're going to get delayed 1 extra lap here, as we'll get the main ticker on the field. Actually, we'll take off that ticker so we can see the main sponsor on the screen. 1 extra lap going to be extended here. And Jonathan Adams, a driver that had good promise this season, has shown some great speed, but obviously had to miss a couple races here and there, and just when he did run good, the bad luck demon struck him at the worst times. But he will be trying to rectify those wrongs. He'll be our pole sitter here today in a Dr. Pepper green and red scheme. Very odd color palette that he usually drives in. Very odd, because you don't think of Dr. Pepper, you don't think of green. You think of red, black, other colors. You don't think of green, especially cherry Dr. Pepper. But hey, overall, though, looking to bring in some luck there in that number 8. Obviously, 2 soft drinks also lock out the front rows. The Mountain Dew Cheetos machine on the outside. So, soft drinks galore here in the first row. And even then, I think behind it, I think Seth Wansing's in a drink machine as well. Yeah, Powerade. So, mixture of drinks and food in the first 2 rows here. So, we got 1 lap to go to green. I'll throw out some quick predictions of who I think will have a good chance at winning here tonight. I'll give out 3 names to keep an eye on. I think for starters, we can't not count out John Hagen. He's won countless races this season. He's definitely a threat to find Victor Lane again. Zach Millett, can't say anything bad about him as well. He's won the past 2 rounds. He's not the favorite. He said he's not a big fan of this track, so maybe it won't be a victory for him, but definitely something you can't count out. And lastly, we'll go with the home track boy here in Seth Wansing. Found luck at Kansas last season that locked him into the playoffs, and he's looking to maybe lock himself in the next round by finding victory at Kansas. But we are going to go green here. 134 laps await these drivers in turn. Taking a look as well. That point. We'll also hear from Seth Wansing during the breaks as well, as we'll hear his thoughts. He's volunteered to be our in-car race reporter as we get ready. So we're going to see the flag in a second. It's going to be Michelle and Adams in row number 1. Green flag is out, and away we go for the Across the Plains 200 at Kansas. So as stage number 1 is in the books, Jonathan Adams will cross the line in first position. Lap 1 of stage 1. Stage 1 ends at lap 25. That's what I was preemptively trying to say. Stage 1 will end at 25, so 24 laps will precede these drivers they race around here. Adams, Hagen, Michelle, Wansing, Millett, your top 5, and you can already see battles raging on between Millett and Wansing, and as well with Proudfoot and Sharp. And this is where this multi-groove racetrack will play a factor here, as these drivers are going to be willing to try to push it out and try to find that extra line and extra groove to try to make moves happen. Meanwhile, back up front, Jonathan Adams now under charge here from John Hagen. B-Tron cars fighting side by side here. Obviously, one in the playoffs, the other is not. So maybe a bit of leeway, but Adams, now someone's going to lay over and die. It's going to be pinned on that low side, and now will be freight trained on the high side by both Michelle and Wanzing. As it's pure battle here as the top five are beginning to break away from Proudfoot in 6th position. But Hagen will take the lead here, and he will lead this lap, so put a lap lead in Hagen's category. Obviously, wanting to steal some thunder from Millet the past couple weeks. Further back, you can see almost 2-3 wide, but we stay on the action up towards the front. You can see Wanzing, our in-car reporter, here side by side with Michelle heading off in this corner. Wanzing's had a bit of a rough season so far. Up to his standards, we have a caution here. Yellow flag is out. Looks like it's for Michael Lawrence. He has heavy damage there on the low side. Looks like James Wright may have also had a piece, and he is turtled. Oh, that's not what you usually see at Kansas. He has been officially turtled, and he will have to jump the pits. So while we see Lawrence limp around here, this is going to be probably a violent-ish crash. So we'll take a look here. You can see right now, as we look at the angles, you can see in regard, there is right now on our screen, focus on the 33 machine of Dale Markowski. Michael Lawrence up there on the high side. So we're going to play it out here. And you can see him pinned on the high side. Oh, he gets a little help there from Hauk. Shoots up the road here, right in the Baxter. And oh, the 13 of James Wright just kind of kick flips against the wall there. And just overall odd situation to boot. We'll take a second look here at this again. This time we'll focus on the we'll focus on the car in question that kind of got a little bit close with him. Davey Hawk will focus on board, and we'll ride on the gyro camera here. We'll focus on the hood, and we'll play it out here. We'll wind just a bit, and we'll play it out here. Obviously, this is he was the one that kind of got into the 47. The question is, does the 47 come low, or did the 28 leave space? The 28 does look like it comes up a little bit. He gives the hook to the 47. But obviously, I'm not race control. You could argue two drivers fighting early here for spots can sometimes lay this factor out. We'll take two more looks at this as well. We'll take another look, a little bit of a different angle here, this time focusing on James Wright here. Actually, we'll focus on Lawrence, and then we'll show in as James Wright comes in. So you're going to see, again, the turn happens there. Lawrence goes down, comes up the road, Baxter, and then you can see Wright right there. It gets turtled and flipped. At this point, it just becomes a self-cleaning track here as he just rides down the line and pushes down the track. One more look we'll take at this as well. Obviously, when someone gets turtled like this, we usually have to watch it inside their own machine here. So we're going to throw it up here and go inside the cockpit here, if I can find the camera. There it is. So we'll take a look inside the cockpit of James Wright, and we'll see what he saw through this incident. There's the smoke. There's the car's wrecking. Baxter gets into him, and just a very odd iRacing crash. At this point, he's just flipped upside down and just shooting down the track. Again, it's a helpless feeling when you're upside down, not knowing which way is up and where you are, and you'll have to tow to pit lane. Good news is, though, for those drivers that were involved in that incident, you can see Lawrence leaving the pit lane. Damage can be repaired by a fast repair, as all drivers do get one throughout all A-squared competitions. So, Lawrence will have his car fixed up for the most part here, to a degree, and obviously James Wright, when he does eventually get his tow time done, he will also be back on the racetrack as well, moving on through festivities. But up front, we now officially got the one to go here. It's going to be Hagen Wanzing, row 1, Michelle and Millet, row 2, Proudfoot Adams, row 3, Roberts Zier, row 4, and Sharp and Gaiman, your first 5 rows here. If you are watching at home, why not in the chat right now? We're only lap 7. Give me predictions of who you think is going to win this stage here, and who is the favorite to find victory lane at the end of 134 laps. So as we get ready here to go green flag action, Hagen Wanzing going to be on the front row here. Pace car going to take the lonesome trip down pit lane. Control will be on John Hagen's. Green flag is out, and away we go after the first caution of the night. Hagen with a great launch there. Michelle and Wanzing, former teammates, will be fighting side by side for second here. think wonders Hagen, did he get a little bit too far away at the moment as he pushes away. Wanze still side by side for second here. Then you can see Proudfoot and Millet. They'll have a big battle here as well, just behind in the far shot here. Again, stage points matter for a majority of these drivers. Unless your name is Hagen, you can really... Oh, it's Michelle and Wanting almost come the touch there. But to kind of finish my point, stage points matter for a lot of these drivers here because with the separation of 1, 2 points, getting a cushion of stage points as Wanting gets around here will get that. But now Millet and Michelle fall on point. But the finish, again, I kind of got distracted by my point. My point is with stage points being crucial, getting maybe 8 and 7 when some driver like Gaiman right now outside the top 10, Sears, Braille, all outside the top 10, it can be beneficial to get as many stage points as you can, just in case things go wary at Bristol. Anyway, top 2, still Hagen, Wanzing, Michelle now under threat here from Zach Millet. Proudfoot in the distance as well. Like I said, right now, 8 out of the 10 spots in the top stage points right now are occupied by playoff drivers. The only 3 that do not have those spots are Sears, Zier, and Braille, as they are on the outside looking in. But you can see in the far shot, Gaiman looking to try to crash that party in currently 9th. Feather Place now in 10th, as it is game on back there. But we stay here right now. Adams and Roberts, they're a little bit close here as well on track. As you can see, a good run by Adams, our pole sitter, going to pinch the bottom, as he will be side by side. Gaiman has also kind of came in and joined this crash of party here, as it is pure racing here further back. Keep an eye on the lead, though, as well, as we'll keep this battle on screen. But Seth Wanzing has caught the back of John Hagen, so we'll join that battle in a second if it does turn into actions. Right now, they are side by side here for currently 6th. We're going to cut back up to the lead now. As you can see right now, Wanzing getting a good run here. Good run off corner exit, obviously being a 2-time series champion here. He knows how to deal with the pressure and get when the going gets tough here, and right now doing what he needs to do in his Chevrolet machine for Tombstone. Pretty single file for the most part. Back a little bit further back, though, you can see runs happening as Sharp, Gaiman, and Adams. Adams is now falling a little bit further back here, as now he is now in currently 8th position. Could fall outside the top 10 if he's not careful. And even further back, you can see right now way outside the top 10, but a bit of the danger zone here. As Lilac here currently lows the playoff drivers, she is kind of fighting for her life here, as Davey Hawk and Dale Markowski and Trisha Catania all kind of around her here. And this is where it gets a bit sketchy. Had a bit of a poor start here, trying to move forward, and just getting buried in traffic can definitely be quite hurtful. But back up front, it's still John Hagen, as he will lead with 11 laps to go in the stage. Millet and Michelle have crashed this party, so top 4 have pulled away from Proudfoot in 5th position by about half a second. And then you got Bren Roberts there as well, now in 6th position, even further back. So separation beginning to form here between these lines. Hagen still playing very defensively here, and this is where, again, a bit of a tricky spot can happen with some of the dirty air and some of the effects. It can be one thing to get close to someone, it's going to be another thing to pass. You have to try to find that speed or hope drivers make mistakes. Back here, you can see how it's very close it is for the final stage point right now. It's between Adams, Featherplace, Sears, Pinnell, and Braille, all under a blanket here. Right now, last drive in on stage points is Featherplace, but team boss Tom Sears is ready and able to try to take that top 10 away from him, as they'll be side by side down the tri-oval. Sears will take 10th, at least for now. But this is going to be race on between these drivers, as some driver, at least one, will not get a playoff point here that are currently in, a stage point here that are currently in the playoffs. watch this battle. Sears almost on the back of Adams. As you can see right there, way chaos back there between Kerr and Hawk almost got together there. That's why we jump back here. Battle's blinking just a bit there. Looks like his connection is secured back, or at least still blinking, as he's right now falling back to 20th position. Back up a little bit high as we're just jumping around battles here. You can see at the moment Gaiman, Roberts fighting. Now you can see Gaiman currently sitting behind their teammate in Pelletier Sharp. As you see Gaiman going to go low here, try to make the move on Sharp here, just on the low side. Again, a driver that's yet to find victory lane this season, but has been consistently strong. Just looking to do something here. Still side by side at the moment. Again, nothing's happening majorly up front right now. This is the closest thing we have on the track between here and also the seems like a battle just outside the top 10, as Zier is trying to get her way inside the top 10 as she's battling Feather Place and Sears. But right now you can see Bren Roberts going to get a good run here. Going to go high side. 2 by 2 here with Tom Sears just behind the last driver in the top 10. Also, Proudfoot has fallen off tremendously as well. He is in this clutches, so top 5 all in a bit of a blanket here. As you can see, Gaiman and Adams raging on war here. This time by, we'll have 5 to go in the stage as Feather Place clips the wall just a bit there. It is still pure racing here. Adams, now last driver in on stage points, as Sears is looking to move front here. Roberts trying to make a move on Proudfoot as well. Roberts will get clear back there. You can see again Sharp, Adams, Zier side by side along with Sears. This usually doesn't end well. Almost 4 wide, heading off into 3. Leave the respect. Treat your neighbor with kindness. Zier, Adams, Sharp. Zier driving up the road, and Adams will be the big loser there as Feather Place will get cleared out. 4 to go in the stage. It is pure racing back here for the last couple stage points. Just trying to say as much angles as we can here to get as much of it in shot. There's Tom Sears right now currently in 9th. Zier, Pelletier Sharp right now side by side. Zier going to get a little bit of a good run there. Sears backed up the corner. He will fall in the clutches. Again, not missing anything up front right now. As Proudfoot has clipped the wall a bit. He is going to fall even further back. Like I said, up front, Hagen has pulled a 7/10 gap on Wanzing. Millet is right behind, but no real major side-by-side actions. This is just chaos. Sears, again, trying to get as many stage points as he can. Last driver in, but you got no major playoff drivers behind except Braille, who's in 15th, the tail end of this line. Feather Place looking to make a move on Zier. Going to be on the corner panel here. Feather Place will cross the line. 2 laps to go in the stage. John Hagen well clear at the moment as we're staying on these last battles for the last couple points. Proudfoot, Sears. Proudfoot right now looking to clear Sears. He will get clear. Sears going to go over-under here. As you can see on the track map right now, Hagen about to cross the line to start the white flag lap in the stage. We'll cut to that when he gets the line next time by, but right now we're still focused on the battle for 10th. Pinnell, Adams, Sears falling back. Braille going to try to make a late crash for this party. Sears falling into clutches. Proudfoot looking at the moment to hang on to his P10. But back up front, we're going to cut to John Hagen, well clear at the moment, as he will come off the last 2 corners, and he will take off where he's left off. He will win stage number 1 in a dominating fashion. Millet will take second just by the skin of his chinny chin chin, with Wanzing 3rd, Michelle 4th, and in the battle of the top 10, Proudfoot will keep his 10th spot here, and he will get it. So it will be Hagen, Millet, Wanzing, Michelle, Gaiman, Roberts, Sharp, Zier, Feather Place, Proudfoot, your top 10. That was a very interesting first stage, and obviously up front, it was chaos and it was battling, but Hagen really put the foot down. But further back, drivers really trying to fight for their playoff lives. Were making big moves and just trying to get as many points as they can to get a good run here. And obviously, for drivers like Proudfoot, that gives it a little extra cushion. But for drivers like Wanzing, as we'll take a look here right now at the moment and see what, not the updated brackets, but what it looked like coming in tonight as pit stops conclude. Seth Wansing was one back. That firmly right now is putting him inside the top 12. Josh Gaiman with a good run. That will keep himself in the top 12. Daniel Michelle will give himself a bigger cushion on that cut line. Feather Place will probably bleed a couple points in favor of those drivers. Sears being one of the few drivers along with Braille not getting points, that will put him in a little bit of a bigger hole that they'll have to try to make up in stage number 2. So as pit stops conclude, after pit stops, we will hear from our in-car race reporter Seth Wansing real fast, and we'll hear his thoughts on the first stage and the second stage. But right now, we'll see who wins the race off pit lane here. It's going to be crucial. So actually, that angle doesn't really tell us much. We're going to stay here, and Brent Roberts looks like he's rolling the dice. He will be the first one out, as looks like he'll take an alt strategy choice here. 2 tires for him. Rest of the field will take 4, as it will be Hagan, Millett, Michelle, Wansing, Sharp, your next 5 off the pit lane. As the rest begin the file suit, let's go hear from the driver that finished 3rd in the stage, Seth Wansing, and hear his thoughts about what has transpired so far. If I can find the right booth. There it is. Hi, Seth. Sorry to drag you out of your team chat, but you volunteered to be our in-car reporter. How's it going so far?
How are you, man? Long time no see.
Long time no see. Obviously, I wanted to give you some time to deal with the playoffs here instead of tracking in every 5 minutes so you can focus on your opportunities. But obviously, with Kansas being a special track for you, I want to hear your thoughts about how it was in that first stage and how Kansas is a good track for you.
Oh, it's the home track, so made many laps on it. The car is good. Don't quite have anything for Hagan just yet. I think from having to go from 4th to 2nd there and doing some battling, I didn't take care of the right front as good as I'd like to, so the car lost some turn. But it's just so hard to be able to run the line you want to be able to take care of stuff because of how close the racing is. You don't want to run a certain line and give up a run off the top and lose a bunch of track position because then it's hard to pass on restart. So it's a fine balance. So hopefully my technical issues did some things. I don't know if they're fixed yet, so hopefully I stay in. But if not, got some stage points for the playoffs. But having fun so far. Always love Kansas. Special place for me.
Yeah, we know that for a fact. Going back to A Square lore, obviously last year you found victory at Kansas that locked you into the playoffs, so it's definitely a home track for you. A special track as well for you. Obviously, with Stage 2, obviously you've told us about not really having the pace for Hagan, but I guess going into playoffs, 9 stage points, actually 8 stage points at the end of Stage 1. What's your mindset in Stage 2? Are you going to go for more stage points here, or are you going to try to get that elusive 10 points?
Stage points. If I can get the 10, then I'm sure as hell going to be aggressive and try to get the lead and then hold track position. I don't know if you saw, but once I got to Hagan's bumper, he kind of arrow blocked there for a bit to where I was using the right front a ton and couldn't get by him. But from there, just try to collect as many stage points as I can with my technical issues. iRacing still working on it, so just try to get as many points as I can and go from there.
Alrighty, well, we'll let you go back to your team chat here and get ready as we've gotten the one to go, and we'll hear from you at the end of stage number 2, hopefully with 10 points in the bank. But you take care and have a good stage 2.
Hey, you guys have fun. Hi to my girlfriend and family watching, and everybody sit back, grab a nice adult or young soda with your dinner, and enjoy some A Squared.
Hey, yeah, get a Powerade as well if you're in that fridge.
Yes.
All right, good talking to you, Seth. Enjoy stage 2.
Thank you, Kevin.
And that was Seth Wansing. We'll hear from him in stage number 2. Make sure he's in the right chat. He is. So Roberts Mill will be row 1. Obviously, Bren Roberts leading the silver points right now. Will take an alt strategy. He will take the front row on the inside. Then everyone else taking 4 tires. Meanwhile, a few drivers came in and topped off, including Lilac Zier, who was now fired back in 18th. We'll have to keep an eye on her, and possibly fuel concerns in stage 2, as stage 2 will end at lap 75. But as the pacer are going to get on ready and plate the lonesome trip down pit lane, Katrope will be on the number 84 machine. Green flag is out, and away we go. Good launch there by Roberts as the rest file off 2 by 2. As they come off the last corner here, Roberts will take his lead, and he will hold on at least for now, with Hagen, though, in tow, and everyone else in lockstep with Millet, Wanzing, Michelle, your top 5. Battle for the lead, though, Night now continuing as Hagen going to go low side here. Roberts going to go high. Interesting kind of tidbit and sense at 84, 81, 31. You either have numbers 8 or 1 in the top 3 spots. Again, Roberts missed out on the playoffs at Daytona by a couple points, had 2 good stages, but just didn't have a great finish. Obviously going to be a kick in the teeth if he has a good run here in this playoff situation. But at the end of the day, though, winning the silver bracket is at least a consolation, and also at least invites him to the All-Star race festivities in a couple weeks. Anyway, though, right now, battle for second. Hagen lost a little bit of touch there. He's fallen into the clutches of Millet and Wanzing there. Proudfoot very up the road as well. Had to make sure he didn't hit the wall or anything. As you can see, Wanzing going to make a move on the low side here. Going to run it in deep. He's going to have a big 81 kind of blocking him off here. Still be side-by-side off corner exit. It should be interesting to see as the longer Roberts hangs on these old tires, it could, in turn, play a strategy here for these drivers to say, hey, maybe 2 tires can be the way to go. As you can see, big racing happen here as Wanzing, Millet still side-by-side will cut on board here with the 25. Daniel Michaud, who's got a good front row seat to this battle up the road here. Wanzing going to lose a little bit of touch there. Will slot back and forth, but you can just see this top 4 were the breakaway 4. And Michelle looking to join that fray, make it a breakaway 5 if he can get some good runs off corner entry and exit. Bad for second. Now, Millet, Hagen. Millet is like, hey, Wanzing, you can't make the charge here. I'm going to make it instead. And he'll be pinched on that high side. As Hagen, Millet still side by side here. And Roberts consistently holding. Should be noteworthy that Roberts that time by ran a 30.92. It was a 31 lap time, now 30.92, with Hagen and Millet both running a 39.7, a 31.05 for the trouble. So everyone running dead even time. So again, the longer the stage goes on, and if we get a late caution, you may see drivers elect to go stay out or even take 2 tires. It's really working for that 84 machine right now. Still, it's Roberts, Millet, Hagen, Wanzing, Michelle, your top 5, as we're focusing further down the grid here. Keeping an eye. We'll focus on this for now as we're still watching battles play on, but we're going to cut a little bit further down the grid here. Going to see some other battles raging on. Last spot's in right now. Tom Sears currently trying to clear Mongold for 10th. Braille, driver that needs some good points here as he got in by a great charge at the Glen. He needs some stage points in his Taco Bell machine, and right now he is on the charge here. Going to try to get around his teammate in Mongold and a frenemy in Tom Sears as they race on here. Josh Gaiman further back here, currently sitting in 15th, and Lilacs here in 18th. The other 2 drivers currently outside the top 10 at the moment. Well, going to look clear, and again, this is where, again, being A, the team boss, and B, being the driver in the playoffs, you can kind of ask for a little bit of respect from your own teammates here and say, hey, listen, we're not battling right now. You clear me. Let me battle. If I don't get it done, you can pass me back. Here, a little bit up the road. Feather Place now under attack here from Adams. See the tryover right now. Top 7 all single file here. Adams going to try to clear Feather Place. Feather Place going to try to stay middle groove here. And again, team boss got around team driver. Now the other team boss looking around team drivers. Sears is trying to get a run on Feather Place. Now Braille ready to crash the party here. Going to go high-low, give him a spot, put him to 10th. And now looking to make it a 2-for-1 special on line power. Can't get fully cleared that. Feather Place will answer back here, but Braille at the moment has got 9th position, at least for now. But he could be under fright here, pinched on that low side here. Braille will get 9th, Feather Place will fall at 10th there. You can see in the distance, Tom Sears at the moment is under point here as well, trying to battle Mongold. And look at this contingency of cars here. We're going to cut the Lilac Sear here. We're going to ride on board with her right now. She's got a great seat seeing all this, as she's right now currently 16th, and you can just see right now, she's 18th actually. James Kerr 17th, 48 16th, Lawrence 15th, all the way up to what is currently 8th position, all in a gaggle. And then you can see up the road, top 7, pretty much single file for the most part. So overall, it is racy in these spots. But outside the top 10, it is pure just scrap out, Thunderdome, Mad Max type action here, as no driver is willing to give an inch here, just trying to get whatever they can. 3 wide between Mongold, Sears, and Hauk there. Sears looking to try to get clear here. This is the battle for 11th. Still raging hard battle here, side by side. Gaiman as well, trying to crash the party. As you watch this battle unfold between battle for 11th and 13th, little blink there by Mongold. Can always be a bit on the sketchy side when that happens, but no driver ends up in a bad spot there. Gaiman trying to get a good run on Hauk is there. It's 2 Gear Cats cars occupying that low side here with both Gaiman and that. And big hit there by Catania right in front of Lilac's ear. Shouldn't have major effect here, though. Gaiman will get clear. Sears and Mongold still side by side for the top 10. Top 11, I should say. One of these drivers will get the wooden spoon, as Sears will get clear for 11th. Up front, we're going to go again. John Hagen and Millett have slowly been reeling in Bren Roberts over the course of this run. You can see right here, here's Bren Roberts. Millett now in second, Hagen in third, Wansing in fourth, Michelle in fifth. Wansing just trying to get the tow rope and keep it locked on the back of Hagen here. When they get racy, though, that could open up the door for Wansing, Michelle, Sharp to close up this gap a little bit. Hagen, Millett, side by side. You could argue the 2 favorites to end up at Homestead in a couple weeks. Raging a war here. Roberts still leading strong here. Has led basically since lap 30, so 15 laps led by that 84 machine, and still charging. Hagen, Millett going to be side by side off corners, entry and exit. Hagen, Millett, whoever can get here first is probably going to be the one that's going to put the pressure on Roberts. Could use him as a pick, so it is a major battle between the 2 of them. Neither going to give an inch, neither going to let off the gas here. Roberts almost into the wall. Still Millett, Hagen side by side for second. Millett leads that by a fingernail. And now with the side battling, it's allowed that number 9 machine of Seth Wansing to close up here. He's going to get a good run on the low side here in his number 9. Try to make it a 2-for-1 here. And you can see Roberts, this is good angle as well. You can see how close that 9 is aggressively side drafting. We'll come back to this camera in a second. I do want to make sure we stay and get this battle in shot as the 9 is looking to try to clear here. But like I was trying to point out, you can see that 84 really changing his line here. Down the backswitch, going high, low, defensive, aggressive. Just trying to keep, and like Wansing was saying, air wash. Put the air wash and change his line to really affect the cars ahead here. In turn, this battling has also allowed Michelle and Sharp to catch up like I theorized. So now the top 6 all under a blanket here. Hagen going to go low again. Roberts going to go high. And this is where being strong at 2 lanes really plays off, but with Roberts, you don't have to really change your line as much as you need to be. Your lead car, run the line that makes you feel comfortable and make sure you run it well, and you won't get overly caught. But Roberts just got in the wall big time there. That's going to allow Hagen a chance to make a run here on the low side. Side by side, heading off into the corner here. You can see right on the corner panel there, the 81 is on the 84. Right now, at the moment, Hagen will take that lap lead. So Hagen now officially gotten his KFC machine back into the lead. But at least for a moment, Roberts going to try to answer back on his 2 tires. But I think those 2 tires may start feeling the effects here, as now he'll fall second. Michelle going to give a Millett going to give a good bump there on the pack of Roberts. Roberts going to go over under here. He's going to take the low side and try to challenge back. Not going to get it fully done, though. And then you can see further back while we were watching this battle rage on, you can see Wanzing and Millet side by side and up the shot as well. Roberts and Millet. Millet going to clear. Wanzing with an aggressive clear there on Daniel Michel. That's going to put him in that spot, though, but he cannot hang on to it. So battle for second, battle for fourth. Millet will get clear of Roberts, put up the second. Wanzing won't win the charge here. And now Michel going to go low side on Roberts. 3 former Sunday Money teammates here in third, fourth, and fifth. They are raging a battle here between the 3 of them. But John Hagen now setting sail, 4/10 clear of Millet. And that's why I was hypothesizing that the car that won that battle between Millet and Hagen was going to be in the distance to set sail, as they would have basically a half a lap advantage over Hagen. Whoever got around Roberts was going to have a half a lap advantage, because that was basically going to be one car would get clear, the other one would be on a pick, and that would be the effect on the third place car in trying to make a move. Roberts will now officially fall down to fourth, as Michel will now take third position. Seth Wanzing going to try to rip it around the high side here. Side by side the 984R. Wanzing, Roberts. Sharp has also joined the fray as well, like I've said. She's driving against sneaky fast this season. Roberts actually coming in the pit lane here. So he looks like he's going to pit here. Hand out the window. There were talks that drivers weren't going to make it to the end of the stage regardless. We know 25, they can make it firmly 25 laps with the help of a caution, but still 25 laps. But Roberts unofficially along with James Kerr. That is not James Kerr. That is James Kerr in his number 75 machine. So both cars in the pit lane here, 75 and the 84. We'll see real fast how long their stop is. Keep an eye on Roberts. Away he goes. Fuel only for the 84 machine. James Kerr looks like he's putting tires on the machine. So now the question is, now Roberts and Kerr will both go one down. Any drivers electing to save here and maybe try to hit that magical number they need to get to the end of this race? Because 25 laps was the safe distance to make it on fuel in stage 1, obviously with some extra saving. This stage obviously ending at lap 70. You're looking at 40 laps. So overall, it's going to be interesting to note, because we saw drivers come in and top off, like Lilacs here, for instance, currently occupying P14. I'll actually go inside her cockpit here and see if she's putting any save down on her run here. We'll keep an eye on her throttle and keep an eye on her inputs. Last time by, she ran it. You can see her lift very aggressively there in the corner, but don't think that is really her lifting to save. Probably just her lifting to hit the corner. But her lap times are about dead even with the cars around her, so overall, doesn't look like she's saving all that much, as her times are indicative with the cars around. She hits the corner entry again. So we'll take a wrap around the field here with a little over 15 laps to go in the stage. We'll take a quick look at the field here. John Hagen currently leads the way with Zach Millet in second. Daniel Michel in third. Seth Wanzing now in fourth position with Pelletier Sharp behind in fifth. These drivers have had war the past couple weeks. They're fourth, fifth, respectively. Our pole sitter, Jonathan Adams, in sixth position. A bit of an island. Tom Sears there in seventh. Brent Roberts obviously a lap down, trying to get back on the lead lap here. He is not from position. Braille in eighth. Looks like something's Proudfoot also came down pit lane at some point in this action. You can see right there, Tom Sears ninth. And actually, we'll hold that thought. Tom Sears is in, and he locks it up aggressively there to hit his line. Just to point out, Proudfoot came in at lap 46 in comparison to the cars around him, and it was fuel only. Actually, it was 2 tires for him when he came in. So at the moment, as we see the 14 come on in, take his pit stop here, he will hit his box. To finish up, Braille there, you can see in 7th position, Gaiman in 8th, Feather Place in 9th, and Ross Baxter rounds outside the top 10. But back to the lead again. Tom Sears pits, and he is, I think he got busted for speeding. He's been on pit road for about 20 seconds right now and is still held. This has been a speeding penalty. We saw him lock it up, and this is where I talked about you got to be careful to make sure you don't make mistakes entering pit lane. And Tom Sears just got caught. So right now, Hagen, Millet, Michel, your top 3, and looks like right now Daniel Michel is pitting. Looks like Seth Wanzing has had more connection issues here as he has fallen down the order, so I don't think we'll hear from him in stage 2. as he is still plagued with issues. Michelle in, though, right now. He will pit. Yep, there's Seth Wyam. Seth Wansing is currently out of the race at the moment. We'll see if he gets back in. So cars in the top 5 have pitted. Major notable runners, Roberts and Michelle in. But up front, Hagan, Millett, Sharp, your top 3 as we speak, as they are still plowing along. 11 laps to go in the stage. And the question is maybe not 100% if, the question is when will these cars in this top half pit? Because presumably if you see cars in your mirrors pitting, you're going to want to cover it off because the undercut could be potent and really leave you a fool. But at the same point, the longer you go, the less fuel you have to take. And all these drivers will presumably be coming in at the end of stage 2 anyway for tires and fuel. So we'll make sure they come on in and top off. So it's still Hagan, Millett, Sharp. We'll see if any major battles are happening. We do have some down here. You can see right now Feather Place and Gaiman. They're having a bit of a battle here for 4th. And we'll have to hold that thought again as Millett is now in the pit lane. So Zach Millett in, pitting from 4th position. A few other cars pitting. Baxter and Feather Place, they are in as well. Line Power in as well. 2 of the 3 cars in the pit lane this time by. And we have a caution. That is going to make things interesting. Looks like it's James Wright involved, and he has had a big lick. He will instantly tow here. See if anyone else had a peek. Tom Sears looks relatively unscathed. Oh, no, he's got some heavy damage on the front. So Tom Sears, you can see that right front basically destroyed. I think also Ryan Pinnell may have had a piece in this as well. So we'll take a look here and see what exactly happened. This is major for some of these cars that just got pinned a lap down. Millett is going to be officially 1 down. As we watch here, I think it may have been a pit. Let's see. Looks like James Wright may have been trying to pit here. We'll play it out here and go full speed. And we'll go for a nice wide angle here. So James Wright coming in. Looks like he hits the apron here. Maybe trying to pit. Maybe get it down to speed. Oh, the thing just kicks out. No help there. Shoots up the racing surface. Oh, good avoidance by Rakowski. Pinnell just has hit the wall. And Sears ricochets low there. To avoid the incident, you could just see the speed differential was major there, and it played a big factor. As Wright probably day done with heavy damage in the past 2 wrecks. We'll take 2 more looks at this as well. We'll focus on Ryan Pinnell in this case. We saw him get a big lick there, if I can find him in my battle box. There's Ryan Pinnell. We'll focus on Pinnell here. You can see him just coming on into the exit stage right here, and just, he tried to go high, and with Kerr going high, he basically had hit the wall or mow into James Wright, and he got some big damage there. You can see that front clip destroyed, but at least the suspension looks good. We'll take one more look at this as well. This time we'll focus on Tom Sears, as he had a big lick, heavy implications for the playoff driver here. So we're going to watch Sears. We're going to go on a nice little hood camera here of the 14 of Tom Sears, and we're going to watch and listen and see what exactly happened to the Massachusetts native. See up the road. There's Curse. There's Wright spinning, going up the road, trying to get on the brakes, and just sometimes you gotta try to hold that brake down and give you a line. Wright maybe was trying to save it, keep it from hitting the wall, and he ended up taking 2 cars to him. They actually thought the toe link was fine on the 12. You can see right there, Ryan Pinnell's toe link is probably broke on the left side. So both cars gonna have lengthy repairs or fast repairs burned for their efforts. Back to live action. Here's Tom Sears again, just limping into the pit lane when it officially opens. This time by Zier will presumably take the lead here, as we've seen interesting situations play out. So let's do a quick update of what's happened as we see Alfred George coming on in the top come in. Zier and Battles elected to stay out here. They are now 1st and 2nd. Millett was able to get back on the lead lap, obviously without the caution coming out at the perfect time. He stays on the lead lap, so he catches a big break, and he will come out 3rd. Hagan will be the lead, the cavalry in, along with Sharp and some others, all the way down the line here. At the moment, cars that got pinned 1 down that incident. We'll see as it circles around here. Feather Place is the first one, along with Michelle. So 2 Line Power cars get pinned decently down here, and they'll have to take the wave around here to get back on the lead lap, but at least they'll be on the lead lap. Actually, 3 line power cars got pinned a lap down. So Sears was involved, and the other 3 get pinned a lap down. So overall, bad day at the office for a leading constructor's car, as he is now sitting in line here. So Feather Place, Michelle, Baxter, Roberts, Mongold, Kerr, and Lawrence. That's Sears. Lawrence will actually not get the wave around as he's dropping to the back here. But everyone else will get the wave around here. Proudfoot got the lucky dog. He'll be on the lead lap, but will be at the tail end of the longest line, meaning Davey Houck on up will get to keep their spots. And Ryan Pinnell obviously got his car fixed. Will actually make a net gain here just because of how the cookie crumbled here. He will stay on the lead lap, burning the faster pair, and in turn will be firing off in P11. So up front, Zier battles. We'll have a scramble here, then Millet Hagen. And this is where I talked about stage break. Stage cautions coming out the right time can really hurt or help. We saw Sears get pinned 2 down now because of a speeding penalty. He'll probably get 1 back at the end of the first stage here, but he'll still be at least 1 down the road. And other implications, Seth Wanzing now back in the race. He's now leaving his box here. Away he will fly. He's now officially 4 laps down here. As we'll see if we want to bring him in. I don't know if he really wants to talk after what's happened. We'll see if we'll bring him in here or not. Don't want to obviously kick a puppy while it's down here, but he's leaving the box. At least he's happy he got some stage points, and he'll try to recover here to get as many points as he can. But up front, Zier battle first row, Millet Hagen row 2, Sharp Adams row 3, Gaiman Markowski row 4, Braille Themes for your top 5. Gaiman and Adams noteworthy as they took 4 tires on their pit stops when they came in at the caution point. Everyone else taking mixture fuel only and 2 tires, with Hagen taking fuel only. So control will be on Lilac Zier. Pace car going to take the lonesome trip down pit lane. Green flag is out, and away we go. Big move there by Sharp, getting locked up there. She will spin her tires a bit, stack up that low side. But Millet already around Battles. It is going to be race on here for the stage victory. As you can see, Battles just getting kind of sinking here like a stone. Game going to try to flip the middle here. 3 wide here. Battles the instigator here in the middle. We'll cut back to lead in a second as I think Sears and Milt will have a sharp battle here. But right now, 71 Black Ass Machine in the wall. As you can see, Braille, Game going to try to sneak in. He gets in the Braille. They keep it straight, more importantly, as we stay green. 2 laps to go in the stage. Sharp, Millet, side by side for second. Presidential Racing, Gear Cats, and Bandit Racing 1, 2, 3 at the moment. Beatron 4, 5, Game in the wall, Battles way down the racing surface. We'll see if a caution gets called or not. We're staying on the action though. 3, 4 wide, Pinnell getting ping-ponged in the game. When we're focused on this, we're going to cut back to the lead. We'll cut to the lead now. Battle for the stage win. Sharp, good run off corner exit. She will take the lead there with 2 laps to go in the stage. Sharp, Zier, Sharp clear, Zier in second. Braille, along with Millet, fighting for third. Remember, Braille's got the freshest tires in this top 10. Beatron battling Presidential Racing. 3 wide back there. Hagen sinking like a stone. Again, fresh tires of Braille and Game. Going to try to capitalize here as they're going to look to try to split Zier. As they come off corner exit, as you see the battle for 3 wide, Sharp in 4 shot will take the white flag in the stage. Half a second clear of all this action, looking poised to take the stage 2 victory. Braille, Game and side by side for second. Braille will get clear Game. This could be all-inclusive points for when the season playoffs end next week for the second round. But Sharp, right now, looking poised as she is a couple corners away here. Battles rage on between Feemster, Proudfoot. But as they come off the last corner, smooth sailing for Sharp. She will keep the hammer down and win stage number 2. Braille second, Game in third. Ryan Pinnell with a good drive in 4th will help him in the silver bracket. Zier 5th, Proudfoot 6th, Millet 7th, Feemster with a good drive in 8th, Davey Hawk in 9th, and John Hagen will fall all the way to 10th position. Cars not getting stage points that were in the playoffs. Daniel Michelle currently occupying 14th position. Brandon Featherplace, looks like he actually ended up going a lap down, even though he should have got the wave around. Looks like he got pinned another lap down. He's now in 20th. And Tom Sears and Seth Wanding, multiple downs. There's Seth Wanzing, and there's Tom Sears and there's Seth Wanzing, multiple down. So back to the front here. Sharp, Braille, Gaiman, Pennell, Zier, your top 5. As we're going to see pit lane open this time by, we'll see if anyone elects to pit. And we're going to see a lot of cars come in. Sears will take the wave round along with some other cars. Presumably some of the, so we'll see Sears take the wave round probably along with Feather Plays, Lawrence, Wanzing. Now the question is, Braille, Sharp, Gaiman, Pennell, Zier all got track position along with Proudfoot. The question is, can they hang on it during this pit stop cycle? And knowing a fuel run is about, give or take, 30 laps, when we get the green, we'll be at 75. There's obviously one green flag pit stops looming, and right there you can see one driver rolling the dice. Jeremy Braille, fuel only. Remember, took 4 tires on his stop. Pennell, Feemster, Gaiman will be the next 3. Gaiman electing to take 2 tires. Rest of the field, though, elected to take 4 here. Not going to roll the dice. Want 4 fresh tires on their machines. So actually, thinking whether or not we should ask Seth Wanzing how it's going right now, obviously in his game plan. Let's see, as our in-case reporter, we'll hear his thoughts right now. We'll bring him in real fast. Obviously, it is his home track, so we'll let him have his moment here.
Wave.
Oh, sorry, Seth. Sorry to drag you in. I don't know if you want to come in and be stage 2, but how's it going? Obviously, we saw the disconnection there.
Yeah, I mean it is what it is. If anyone out there watching knows how to fix just random screen freezes from iRacing, including iRacing because they still can't figure it out themselves, please let me know.
I do wonder if it could be the motherboard, because I did hear some rumors about that. I wonder if it could be the motherboard, possibly, in the computer.
At this point, I don't know. I mean, I got a pretty expensive and pretty up-to-date PC, so I don't know. But it is what it is. We'll try to get the best finish we can here, and hopefully it doesn't lag out and we get mass chaos because everybody's taking the wave around here and we'll be the only one.
Well,
laps down. Actually, Adams just pit, so screw that strategy now too. But I hope everybody's enjoying at home. It just sucks. Had a really fast Powerade Chevy, but not to be tonight, and it sucks because it's my home track, and that puts me in an awful spot for the playoffs. So, but I hope everybody's having a good time. I thank everybody for watching A Squared, and maybe we can get a bunch of chaos and back on the lead lap.
Hey,
who knows?
Chaos breeds chaos. We'll have to see how it plays. We'll let you go back in your chat there. Obviously, a little dejected, but still, a lot of race left here. We'll see how it all plays out.
Yeah.
Good talking to you, Seth, and good luck in the rest of the race.
Thanks, Kevin.
And that is Seth Wanzing, our in-race report. Obviously, again, dejected. It was whether or not to bring him back in here, but did want to hear his thoughts, as obviously he is our in-car reporter. It's his home track, and we did want to hear his thoughts about the festivities. But obviously, again, we're going to go green this time by a few cars. Going to take the wave round. You can see Feather Place and Sears. They'll take the wave round here, and we'll be back. Well, Sears will be 1 down. Feather Place will be on the lead lap, so we'll have 20 cars repeating on the lead lap here between these cars. Braille, Pennell, 1, 2 at the moment. Obviously, interesting to note, the front row is occupied by 2 cars that look like they'll be hitting the retirement zone after this season, as both, at least, we know Pennell's intention is fully to retire. We know Braille may not retire for all competitions in the ARCS community, or at least the A-Square community, but will be retiring from full-time competition. So overall, Braille, Pennell, row 1, Feemster Game in row 2, Zier, Hawk, row 3, Millet, Proudfoot, row 4, Kerr, and Hagen, your first 5 rows. Looking in the chat as well, we see someone firing off, looking for, cheering for Lilac's here. So again, if you're in the chat right now, support who you want to support, and thank you for tuning in on this Sunday evening here at Kansas for the Across the Plains 200 here at Kansas for the A Squared Midwest Barbecue Cup Series here for ARCS. So anyway, pace car going to take the lonesome trip down the pit lane. It's going to be Braille, Pennell, row number 1, as it will be the control on Braille. Green flag is out, and away we go for the final stage. So up front to start the final stage. Big move there by Mongold, way loose. It's going to say his teammate and team boss Braille leads that lap in the stage as cars fan out and get around him. But back up front, Braille, Pinnell, Game, and Feemster Z are your top 10. And this is a shakeup of shakeups. As multiple cars now fighting for spots here. Pinnell, obviously, he may be going to the retirement home, but he's not going to go without at least getting a trophy, as he's going to be side-by-side heading off in the 3. As even though he's not a playoff driver, he still wants the bragging rights and be a spoiler. That lap will be led by Braille. There you can also see right there Feemster and Zier high-low, as Zier is looking for a move here on Feemster. It is pure racing pandemonium here. Side-by-side for third, side-by-side for first, and Damon looking to crash the party as well. He is winless. This top 5 haven't had a win this season, and there are a lot of strong drivers. Actually, Braille did win the Daytona 500, but outside of him, it's a man. Look at Millet, way high there on the high side right now, going to split the difference here. 1, 2, 3 cars. He's going to try to pass in a span of a straightaway here. He is ripping it, riding it, and taking no prisoners. He is now officially up the 3rd spot. He has flexed his muscles when this playoffs have started, and he is truly showing up. And look at Hagen in the distance as well in that KFC machine. He is also cutting up for the field as we speak. As he is occupying that spot, Pinnell almost gets in the Braille. That's going to kill the speed of the 12. Millet going to try to split the difference. Braille will lead this lap. Millet, though, going to go high side here, heading off in to 1. Braille will hold a charge, at least for now, but you can see right now as we'll go on camera for Millet. Good run there through corner entry as he's looking to get poised. Kevin Feemster following in the wake here. Still side by side at the moment. Millet clear right now. So Millet, Hagen, Feemster, your top 3 as they're pulling away here, and then it is a train behind as he Gaiman, Pinnell, Zier, Proudfoot, Michelle, Hagen, all playoff drivers fighting there. But up front, Millet finally gets the good charge. Braille gets a little loose, and that's going to put Millet to the lead with Braille. Now Feemster in 2nd, Braille falling down the 3rd. And it is just pure racing here. Going to cut back a little bit further back, 3 wide between Proudfoot, Zier, and the 12 of Pinnell teammates there on the low side. Hagen still trying to split that difference, try to carve for the field here like a hot knife through butter. Pinnell got in the shell, a little bit aggressive side drafting here, as it's still 3 wide. We're going to cut to the lead to 2nd here, as it's getting close between that, but this is 3 wide action. Do not want to cut away from this, as this is razor edge at the moment. Hagen now up to 8th, as Pinnell's now falling outside the top 10 here, as he's beginning to fall. Back up to the front, Feemster. He's trying to stay in touch with Millet. Braille, you can see now a train form behind Feemster. His cars rage on. Braille going to go low side on the 21, aggressively trying to side draft here. We're going to get on shot here. We're going to focus on Michelle here. We're going to go on his hood as he's got a great shot here of what we're seeing here as Hagen going to go way low there, make a move. 81 KFC machine, who's been dominating this race in stage 1, will be now sitting in 6th position. Gaiman, Proudfoot. Proudfoot going to lose touch there. Gaiman will get clear. Hagen going to go low side here. Seeing that graphic, it's been a little bit of time since this 81 has found victory lane, but he's trying to find his way back there again. So he's side by side with Proudfoot. Battle for 2nd. Feemster side by side with Braille. Gaiman going to go low side here. It's basically a game of musical chairs. Who can think they can lead the train to catch to that 31? Gaiman going to get clear of Braille, but can't close the door on Feemster. And look at Hagen, going to go low side here. Hagen going to have a good run here. Look at that action. Zier, Braille, Hagen, 3 by 3 there. And that's why you got to be careful to make clears happen. You can get clear sometimes, but if you clear too quick, you could end up getting yourself dumped. As Michelle going to go way low here. Battle for 2nd. Gaiman going to be side by side with Feemster. And we'll get clear. Feemster going to go over under those. So Gaiman's trying to slide job his way around. As the battle for second still rages on here, and you can just see how much action's happening back there. As cars fight for every nook and cranny they can get. This time by lap 86, Zach Millett looking to do what I don't think any driver has done in A-squared competition and win the first 3 rounds of the playoffs. He's looking poised to do it at the moment. There's a lot of strong cars in that pack. Feemster holding his nerve right now in second. Zier currently fighting Proudfoot. Roberts, again, a driver that's currently leading the silver bracket, currently sitting in 6th. Pinellas recovered to a top 10 after falling back outside the top 10. Gaiman going to get clear there. You can see the slide jump almost work. Side by side, heading down the tri-oval between the 21 and the 61. Feemster, Gaiman, Zier all in shot here. No car going to give an inch here. They will fight hard for every nook and cranny. Gaiman going to go high, blocking off Proudfoot. Feemster on the low side. Look at Hagen to try to almost stick a corner panel in there. Thinks better of it. Gaiman will keep second at least for now. Proudfoot, Roberts going to charge high side on Feemster. 3 wide in the middle on the middle side here. Feemster now falling back and falling back quickly. Zier will get clear for third. Proudfoot in fourth. Feemster still falling. Roberts, Michelle, Hagen, the big loser there, gets pinched low side. Now he's going to try to change his line to do whatever he can to get around that 21. But now Michelle can't get the charge happening here. This is where the fuel only call there by Feemster is the tires are kind of starting to hurt a little bit. As you can see them really start to kind of fall off here. Still focused on Michelle and Feemster. We're going to cut back up to the lead here. Well, the lead is Zach Millett, 7/10 clear. Then it's Gaiman, Zier, Proudfoot, all under a blanket here. Just shows you how close it is. And then we're going to cut back right there. Ryan Pinnell, obviously last car in the top 10. He's in his own battle here. Braille, playoff driver right there. You can see in the shot. Sharp, also here as well. You can see her in that 18 machine. Fighting tooth and nail just to try to get inside this top 10. The back up front, Millett. This year has... It's worth just noting, I know I'm kind of beating a dead horse here, but obviously Millett's been strong in these playoffs, but you can't count out Lilacs here as well. She's been very strong in these playoffs as well. Sneaky fast. She played some all-races at Darlington. Top 5 at Watkins Glen. She's someone to keep an eye on, along with Gaiman, have really turned it up when the playoffs have started here, as they are now second and third. As you watch these battles, Hagen going to be on the low side of Roberts here. Focus on that, and Zier as well. Kind of covering 2 battles at once here, trying to get them all in shot. Roberts going to go low side here on Hagen. Hagen going to try to make the run happen here. Roberts going to try to cut the door off here. Will get it done. Now going to try to make a move on Proudfoot. Look at that. 3 wide between Hagen, Proudfoot. Oh! Almost Hagen sent Michelle in the Proudfoot. But Hagen, they'll keep it pointing the right direction here. But Zier has gotten into second while recovering that battle there. Zier has gotten herself into second here. So we're just focused on a lot of battles here. Zier, then you can see right now Hagen going to fall back again. So many drivers here having playoff implications here in this battle. Couple spots could play out the difference between probably making the next round or being eliminated. Looks like it's gotten settled out right now. And remember, a green flag pit stop looms for this field probably in the next 10, 15, 20 laps. These drivers will have to take probably one more pit stop before this race concludes as they see Millet pulling away from Lilac Sear. Gap is now 1.2 and growing. Shell get around Hagen. Lap 96 of 134. Still over 30 and some change to go, or 35 laps, if my math is correct. For folks on this battle inside the top 10, as Millet is pulled away, Zier is now pulling away from second. And you got Gaiman, so on and so forth down here. This is the closest thing we've had on track. That's why we're focusing on it. It's Michelle and Hagen are basically side by side. And speaking of, though, you see Mongold getting a move here and going to get around Kevin Feemster. So put Mongold up to 8th, Feemster down to 9th. A little bit further back, you see James Kirk sitting in 11th, fighting Markowski. There's Pelletier Sharp, current chase driver, sitting in 12th. She's won stage 2, so she's going to have those points to fall back on. But definitely a big hole she'll have to dig herself out of here to try to get herself in the points. Same by same with Seth Wanzing. So cut back to the race lead here. Again, Millet just pulling away. And we'll show you just how big this gap is as we'll go on board with Lilac Zier here, currently sitting in second. And it should be noteworthy as well. Last time by, Millet ran a 31.94, Zier a 32.08. Fastest car in the top 5 was the number 81 of John Hagen, ran a 92. So right now, all cars running kind of dead even times, but Millet right now just finding that extra speed and really making it kind of flex out. And speaking of Hagen, he'll make that move now. He is up to 4th. So he's flexing that speed right now. See Roberts and Michelle, line power fighting on the low side. As you can see, Gaiman and Hagen. Next time by, we'll have 34 laps to go in this race. KFC car can't get clear of Josh Gaiman there in his 23 simware.com machine. Or 213, I should say, before I get a little complaint in the mail. 213 simware race machine will now lose the spot to the KFC machine, as Hagen will now be up to 3rd, but Gaiman not going away here. He knows he's got to run aggressively here. Every point matters, as they'll be firing it off side by side in the 1. First car pitting for final pit stops is Proudfoot and Hauk. They're both in their box right now as we speak. Just to show you right there, that's Lawrence. That's Proudfoot. He's hitting his block. Hauk as well, both in. So they are going to go for the supreme undercut here and try to make it to the end on one stop. The risk is, obviously, if a caution comes out between here and now, it could be cannons to the chances of Proudfoot winning this race or even getting some good points. Roberts in. Roberts will be another playoff driver in, first of the top 10 in his box here, as he will now pit. And this makes you think, if you're a driver like Hagen, if you're a driver like Zier, Hagen is now reeled down Zier here for second. But to kind of go to my point, if you're Hagen, Gaiman, Michelle, Zier, you may have to be thinking undercut here. You got to find a way to get around Millet, and staying on strategy with him is not going to work, as lap times are about a tenth or two slower than Millet. This time by, we'll check the times and see Hagen get around for second. But Millet ran a 32.06, Hagen ran a 31.97, Zier a 32.44, Gaiman a 32.17, along with Michelle in this top 5. Fastest car on track, obviously, was John Hagen, who we're focusing in second. Gaiman, Michelle fighting hard here for 4th. Gaiman falling back a bit. Maybe those tires, along with Zier, really starting to feel effects. Gaiman took fuel only on that last. Actually, I think he took 2 tires on his last stop. Try to stay in sequence. I think I actually may have fueling because it took 4 before stage break. So obviously, tires falling off a little bit worse than the cars that took 4 tires. And this is where perseverance also plays a big factor. Looks like Bren Roberts came in, was unscheduled. He had a 55-second stop here. So he got held or he sped or something as he now had to serve a penalty. So that is going to hurt Bren Roberts in the long run. A little bit further back, we have folks on this outside this top 10 is, well, James Kerr was battling there. It looks like he had a desync there for a second. As now Feemster is pitting along with John Hagan and Mongold. So B-Tron coming in to the B-Tron cars. Sharp and Feemster, not B-Tron cars, along with Braille. So all B-Tron in this time by. This is the lap they want to hit. Will be followed in by a Gear Cats car and a Prophecy Motorsports car. All in the box this time by. So now that question rages. If you're Millet, do you cover this off? You know Hagan is one of the faster cars on track. You give him the range and give him the time, he could be a driver that could make it hurt here and make it a hard challenge to catch. But at the same point, going long, right now you pin Hagan a lap down. So in turn, you make your main enemy here, pin him a lap down. You could be in the driver's seat if a caution comes out. Proudfoot right now is currently the lucky dog as he's cycled around the 13th. The powers of the undercut. Feather place in, he will pit here, giving up 11th. So top 10, if all you have to make their final pit stops here. Millet, and now Zier in as well. She's coming in along with Gaiman. Ooh, big lockup by Gaiman again. Got to be careful not to speed. There's all Sears and Roberts both get busted by the speeding fairy. Big puff of smoke there on the shot screen there. Hopefully nothing major's happened. Don't see anything really of note on the battle box, and we stay green. See again if Millet elects coming this time by. He is coming in this time by. So Millet will pit. Michelle will follow. Bit of a lockup there, though, by Millet. A lot of smoke. We'll have to make sure he got it down the speed in time. Millet in. Michelle in. Markowski will stay out. So all playoff drivers have made their pit stops here that are on the lead lap. Rest are silver bracket drivers from Markowski to battles. We'll see as both drivers hit their boxes now. We'll make sure they didn't speed. Proudfoot will take the de facto lead when it cycles out, presumably as he's jumped around Hagan. We'll keep an eye, though, on pit lane. 4 tires and fuel. We'll see if these drivers got busted for speeding. We saw some lockup by Millet. He will not get caught. Along with Millet, they both follow by the rules. But on the far side, you'll see Proudfoot. He'll zoom on by. So Proudfoot will take the lead of this race with a 2-tire strategy call, the note as well. We called them a couple weeks ago. We called them throughout the weeks. Brandon 2-tire Proudfoot, and he made it work at Nashville where those 2 tires got him the race win. Right now, though, he will sit in first position when it cycles through. Hagan will take second as he carves his way for the field when all cars pit. Millet is now in third as he Baxter pitting in along with Kerr, Markowski, and Battles, leaving 2 cars that have yet to make their final pit stops. One, Alfred George, as you can see right now, unlapping himself. Zach Millet is giving us right now 6 cars on the lead lap. And the other car is Ryan Pinnell there in second. So Presidential Racing currently 1-2 at the moment, but obviously pit stops loom for both George and Pinnell. As more cars get around our race leader here, Alfred George. Oh, you can see there's Seth Wansing. He is pitting, obviously multiple laps down, just looking for any miracles here. The question is, if obviously a caution comes out now, Zier, Damon, Michelle, Sharp, Braille, Featherplace will be all pinned a lap down or more. So they're hoping with 25 to go now, 24 to go, a caution does not come out anytime soon. There you can see Lilac Zier will be ripping around the high side. She will leave and get her lap back along with Gaiman, and now Alfred George is in. We'll see if Ryan Pinnell follows suit. He will not in his Ryan Blaney scheme. He will continue on. That will unlap a few other fields. Michelle looking to try to follow suit here. Obviously, Pinnell with 23 laps to go as a race leader. Michelle going to go ripping around the high side here. Mongold going to go low side. And this is where you just know you're just trying to hang on. You're trying to make the strategy work here, and it's just you see cars ripping it, speeding by you. And you can feel just like, oh, you feel so slow, so helpless. But this isn't the strategy of the 12 as he is now coming on in. So Pinnell will give up the lead meaning when it all cycles through, this 22 will have the lead, and he will have a 5-second gap to this man, John Hagan, who will have a 2-second gap to this man, Zach Millett, who will have a 1-second gap to both Zier and Gaiman. That will be your top 5 in about, give or take, 30 seconds. Can two-tire Proudfoot do it again here? Only thing worth noting, he had a bigger gap than he did at Nashville than he did here. But on the flip of the coin, we saw Roberts at the start of Stage 2 hold for about 15-ish laps, give or take 20, holding up that John Hagan in turn and making that strategy work. So as long as he can kind of run similar times and give himself a cushion, he could probably make that car wide enough to, at the very least, win this race or give himself a nice top 5. So right now, the 22 seems to be in the catbird seat. But, you know, Hagan with his 4 tires, along with Millett, are looking to try to reel him down. Battle for 7th. Mongold, well, I was saying it was battle for 7th, but Mongold right now is in close proximity to Sharp. That's why we came here, but gap's a little bit bigger than I thought it was. No other major battles on track to report of. Everyone's pretty single file, spaced out by a couple tenths between each other. So it's just strategy playing out, and how will it play factor. Looks like Roberts back there is battling, but Roberts got busted for speeding, so Roberts is further back. We're going to cut back up to John Hagan here. We'll actually go on board with the 81 KFC machine, as we're actually going to go inside the cockpit here. We're going to watch a lap around here just to see if he makes much inroads here with 19 to go. You could argue he's probably been the fastest car on track to this night here, as he has run the, actually, yeah, he's not run the best lap of this race, surprisingly. That car right there has run the personal best of this session is that 22 machine up front. However, last time by, Hagan was faster than Proudfoot by about 4 tenths. It was a 31.19 to a 31.56 advantage Hagan. Hagan was the fastest also on the track. Actually, he wasn't. It was technically Kerr, but in regards to the top 10. That time by, Proudfoot 31.62, Hagan a 31.29. In the top 5, fast in the top 5 was Zach Millett, currently sitting, occupying P3. So this is interesting to play out. Looking at how many laps are remaining, how much time is remaining, you gotta, with the gaps remaining, he's got to make up a second every 6 laps, pretty much, to get to Proudfoot by the end of this race. But obviously, you don't want to get to him on the final lap because you probably won't pass him if you get to him on the final lap. So he's got to make an average of 5, maybe 4 laps. He's got to shave off a second. He's getting 2-3 attempts every lap, but that may not be big enough inroads for Hagan to catch Proudfoot, and this could be a repeat of Nashville, when we saw Hagan and Millett have to fight between themselves. Well, Proudfoot's 2-tire strategy worked out. This time by, Proudfoot will come across the line. There'll be 16 laps to go, and now the gap has fallen quite tremendously there. It's now down to 2.8. Some drivers that are going to bleed points, regardless of what happens here, are going to bleed some points here. Feather Place, currently the first car in the lucky dog spot, though, so if a caution were to fly, he would get back on the late lap. Tom Sears pinned a lap down, probably will stay a lap down, and Seth Wanzing obviously is hoping for more today. He's now 4 down. He's basically going to have to hope for some retirements here or a lot of cautions if he wants to get back on the late lap and try to recover this. This time, about 15 to go. Hagan, fastest again, as he's now shaved off another 3 tenths. He is coming, and at this current rate he's hitting, doing quick math in my head here, he'll get there within 8 laps. At the rate he's hitting his magical numbers, he'll get there in 8 laps, leaving him about 7 laps to try to make a move here. Proudfoot going to come across the line again, 14 laps to go, and if they do race, these two do race, Zach Millett there in the wings is ready to capitalize. We'll take the opportunity with 14 laps to go. First of all, to thank everyone for tuning in here for the long haul. Thank you for joining us here on ABN Studios here for great festivities. 14 laps to go. Wait for these drivers as they rage on war, trying to bring home a victory. Gap has fallen quite tremendously as well. Gap is now down to 1.6. That was a big time loss by Proudfoot, as he's fallen even more time, now down to 1.5. One saving grace. Feather Place is right there. Could pull a bit of a pick here and help that 22 out, as that 34 is not going to want to concede too much here. This could give some help to that 22 at the moment. He'll go low side. Proudfoot we pinned side by side. Hagen trying to get as much side draft as he can. Try to dispose of that 31. And he'll get clear. So put Hagen now to second. Millet now down in the third. Well, still in third. And Feather Place will stay a lap down. Gap is now 1.2. We'll take this quick opportunity while we see Hagen catch up. We'll do a quick wraparound. Proudfoot currently leading the way. Hagen now got it within a second. Millet caught up to Hagen with the freshest tires. He pitted the latest. Gaiman in fourth. Zier in fifth. Big battle between the two of them. Two sneaky drivers. Michelle, after missing last week, still in the playoffs, in sixth. Awesome Mongol with a great drive, representing Team USA proud in seventh. Sharp sitting in eighth. Feemster in ninth. James Kerr with a good drive, currently sitting in 10th, with a hungry Markowski behind. Then it's Ross Baxter, Davey Hauk, Josh Battles, Jeremy Braille with a big bleed here, currently sitting in 15th. Pennell, George, Lawrence, your top 18 on the lead lap, with Brandon Featherplace currently one down, sitting in 19th. Back up front, Hagen, Millet, as we're going to hit 10 to go this time by. They have caught Proudfoot within 7 tenths. They're within the margin of error, but now this is where it's going to get concerning. Millet, Hagen, do they fight each other? Do they battle for who will be second position? Do they have a mutual truce? Because they are there. They have caught 22, but they are not within distance enough. If they start fighting, this could be detrimental to both parties. It's the Scorpion and the Frog. It's in their nature to battle, but it's in their best interest to hold off maybe one more lap to ensure they're in the air wash of Proudfoot. Then it's game on, as they have now caught, so it's probably gloves off here, as Hagen going to go low, Proudfoot going to stay middle, Millet going to go high, and you can see right now Hagen looking to try to make a move to weed this race. Good runoff exit. Millet going to go low side here on Hagen. Shoots it down low, going to try to make it a 2-for-1 special for the 31 machine. He will get it done. Aggressive move there by the 31. He will do it with the move that could win him this race. 8 laps to go. Millet leads the way. Hagen trying to get around for second. Proudfoot going to fall down to third. 2-tire Proudfoot held on as long as he could, but that is probably going to be curtains for his chances of victory unless pure chaos happens. Millet still leading the way. 8 laps to go. Hagen going to fall down to second with Proudfoot in third. Right now, Proudfoot going to try to stop the bleeding at the moment. Got about 2 and some second gap to Zier in fourth. We'll see if he can stay in the air, wash, and hang on. This is going to be the battle for the race win, bearing a caution between Hagen and Millet. Right there, you can see Gaiman side by side through the trial for Zier. We're going to cut to this for a second just to see this battle rage on, but we're going to cut back to the lead in 1 lap here, because Hagen is not on the back of Millet quite yet. Gap was about 2 tenths. This is for a top 5, so we're focusing on this for a second. I just kind of wish we did have side-by-side. We had another person here, because this would be great to have a side-by-side feature between the two of them, as they are still raging war right now. Is neither driver going to give an inch? Gaiman going to get the run off he needs. Still side-by-side for the trial. 6 laps to go. 5 next time by. We're going to cut back to the lead here in just a second, as I don't want to miss that battle they have. We're going to cut there now. As you can see, Hagen trying to get a good run here. Still side-by-side, not in distance. We're going to cut back to Gaiman, who got a little loose off corner entry there. Zier going to get some distance here. So we're going to cut back to Hagen and Millet. This time by 5 laps to go. Millet leading the way with Hagen now in tow in second. What does Hagen have? Can he get around? Right now, you can argue these are the 2 strongest drivers to be fighting for a championship at Homestead. And this track being multi-groove like Homestead, this could be indicative of what we see in a couple of weeks' time between the 2 drivers maybe coming to the line. 4 laps to go. It is still, right now, Milton in the way, who would have won stage 2 if not for a late caution. Hagen winning stage 1. They got one car up the road. That is Cheeseburger Lawrence. Presumably he will just be told to get out of the way here, not play a factor here. And Hagen to go middle groove. Still not caught Lawrence yet. Lawrence is not going to yield yet. Looks like we'll see if he yields at all. He'll stay low. That's going to impede Hagen just a bit. Hagen going to go wide. We're going to see 3 laps to go here. Hagen going to go low again. Millet try whatever he can do to go high. Oh, he's going to be on the corner panel. Hagen's there. Millet going to try to box him out of the way here. Still side by side. They'll shoot it off in the 3. Millet, Hagen, but Hagen can't drive it as deep as he wants to. He'll have to back it up, but just a tiny bit to get the run off. Millet into the wall. Hagen going to get there as well. Try to close the door. Millet gets into Hagen a little bit. 2 laps to go. Millet tried to shut the door, almost sent Hagen to the Shadow Realm, but they'll rage on. They'll have to keep it clean. Penalty points could play a factor, and you do not want to leave it into the hands of the stewards. Side by side, they'll be shooting off here between Millet and Hagen. They'll shoot it off into 3 and 4 here. No one going to leave an inch. Hagen going to drive it in deep, just trying to box out that 31. As they come off the last corner, Hagen, Millet, side by side. We're looking for a good old Kansas photo finish. 1 lap to go. Brought to you by Smeal Racing Designs. They touch again. Remember, Proudfoot is in the distance if things go squirrely. Right there, still side by side. Hagen going to drift on up. You can see he can separate them by a fender as they take the shot down the bog straightaway here. Hagen going to drive it in deeper, back it up. He's going to run it side by side. Millet going to try to get the throttle. Who can get on the throttle first? Hagen, Millet going to have a drag race down the line. Millet, Hagen into each other. They're going to stick it off the wall. It's going to be a photo finish to the line. It's going to be Hagen, Millet. It's a photo finish. Scoring and timing says it's Millet by a fender. Hagen looked like he got there first, and deja vu to the real-life Kansas race. Millet, Hagen going to be 1-2. Obviously, we'll have to look, see who exactly got the win there. We'll have to take a look at the photo finish, but right now that was beating and banging. We'll see if there's any love lost between the two of them, but obviously one of those great races. You can't be mad at that, as no driver wanted to give an inch, and maybe what we'll see for shades of Homestead in a couple weeks. But right now, if it's true, Millet has won this race. We'll see. Hagen looks like he's pulling in. So Zach Millet has at least been declared the winner on timing and scoring, and looks like he will get it. So Millet will be your race winner. He will win the next loss. Has won 3 in a row here to start the playoffs. And he is looking like a threat. He has woken up at the right time. As you're going to see him still not really burning it down yet, though. Very odd indeed choice. Now he'll start spinning it down. Zach Millet, your unofficial winner. Obviously, we're going to see as he burns down here. I want to take a look at that final lap and take a look at that photo finish between the two of them before we get to any interviews here. That was a finish. My voice was struggling to keep up with this action. And again, one of those good old Kansas finishes between Millet and Hagen. This track does not disappoint in the slightest. So Zach Millet, your race winner, and again, look at that timing and scoring board, dead even. So we're going to take a quick look at that final lap and just see how close it was between the two of them. So you can see coming down the far shot here, you can see them racing in side by side here as they race off here into the corner distance. This is a replay of the final lap. You can see Millet goes in. Hagen, you know Hagen, it's about who gets on the throttle here first. Hagen try to push it up. Millet still side by side here. Obviously, both drivers are looking poised to make the next one regardless, but getting that win could be the momentum stealer. Then you can see coming off corner, Hagen going to run it in deep just a bit. Millet going to try to pinch. And as they come off here, they hit the wall. They get stuck together. And as they come to the line, you can see right there, it's going to pause to go for the photo finish, and you can just see how close it was. So we're going to rewind here just a bit. And we're going to see if we can see this by margins. I'm going to actually have to probably bring this up here just so I can see it real fast. I believe it's that button. It is. So we're going to go slow by slow. I know. Just to show you how close this was, right there is coming to the line basically as they cross. We'll see if we can get a better angle of this real fast. That's not the right one. Yeah, that just shows you how close it was between the two of them. And that is what separates a win and a loss here tonight. Millet, that close, beating out John Hagen. I thought Hagen got it, but Millet getting that win, getting that finish, and he will be a race winner, winning 3 in a row to start the playoffs. So while we hang on that screen, we'll see if this actually, I can see through the final results here. If not, we're just going to then do it here. So we'll see if this pops up. No, we're in replays. No, it will pop up. So we'll take a look here at the final results real fast, and then we'll get to interviews. Zach Millet winning by 0.002 according to timing and scoring over John Hagen. Basically, you could call it Bush and Craven back in 03 with how close that was, or even the modern-day comparison of Larson and Buscher. Next up, Proudfoot in third, Lilacs here in fourth, and Josh Gaiman in the top 5. Working further down the field, you got Michelle, Sharp, Mongold, Feemster, Markowski, your top 10, with Kerr, Baxter, Ryan Pennell, Jeremy Bale, and Josh Battles rounding out the top 15. Alfred George, Davey Hawk, Brandon Featherplace, Michael Lawrence, and Tom Sears rounding out the top 20. Moving further down, you got Roberts, Wanzing, Adams, Wright, Catania, and Mike LaJoy not taking the flag here. So 25 cars took the flag, and 23 wound up finishing this race. But again, what a finish as we go back to live action. I just did not want to hit that button, but regardless, what a finish here tonight. Millet, going to be all smiles, but you can't take away from Hagen, and we'll hear both their thoughts along with Proudfoot in just a second. But we're going to tease that just a little bit. We're going to start off with Proudfoot and work our way up. So 3, 2, 1, and we'll hear from Proudfoot first up here. Just to make sure everything is all hunky-dory on audio. All right, that should be good. So now we'll hear from Proudfoot now. Brandon, this is Kevin, the ABM booth. You got a copy?
I got you.
All right, that obviously was a photo finish up front, but you tried an alt strategy to make it work. But first of all, we got to start off with the beginnings of the race here. So obviously, we saw you just trying to run on, but it seemed like tire fall off was kind of severe. So take us through kind of those first 2 stages with the track out there. Were you dealing with tire grip at least?
I was dealing with a whole spew of things. As a matter of fact, going into qualifying, going to turn 1, my wheel mount actually busted on my race rig, so I lost my angle of degree, and my my sim wheel is full free range of motion. So anytime I had a little bit of counter steer, the torque of the wheel would actually lift it up off of the mount. So not only dealing with that, but also with dealing with the tight car and dealing with the different conditions on top of that, it was extremely difficult tonight.
I mean, hey, you were, even though it was broken, you were ripping and riding like nothing was wrong, and you were doing it, making it work out. Moving onward, we saw you got the first and second stage. You were racing out, trying to get as much as you could, and the final stage came in. You did what you did at Nashville and took 2 tires. Obviously, I assume the call was simply because you wanted to try to get yourself the track position, but any other thoughts why you took 2 instead of 4?
To de-wedge the car. The wear on the left sides wasn't too terrible. And with the last stage not being quite 2 fuel runs, I felt that time on pit road possibly could outweigh the negatives, which, I mean, I pit from, I think I was running 5th at the time that I got into the wall, shortly before I pitted. And truth be told, I finished farther than where I did whenever I pit. So the ultimate answer is yes, it did work, just not quite enough to beat ahead of those 2, which how they finished, I'm kind of glad it didn't.
Hey, yeah, it worked out. It still got you a net gain, so overall up 5 spots when you qualified, and obviously up in the pack, so you can't complain about that. Moving further on, obviously, I guess I could ask this question. With how much Millet and Haig were beating and banging on each other, do you think there was a chance you could maybe find your way back to the front there if they took each other out? Like, what was going through your thoughts in those last couple laps from your perspective, being about a couple seconds back?
I'll be honest with you, minus the fact that my wheel's somewhat broken, I had a popcorn bucket in my hand. They were side by side after they got by me, and I was just along for the ride. I see that puff of smoke there coming out of 4, and my heart skipped a beat a little bit, but ultimately I was just along for the ride and watching the good battle those 2 were having.
And obviously we'll hear their thoughts shortly. But yeah, once I saw Hagen, I thought he was going to get hooked on Millet, and they were going to get stuck in the wall, and we're going to see a 22 sneak on by. But obviously, good run here as well. You're keeping this good form going in the playoffs here. And next week is Bristol. Obviously, without a win today, you aren't mathematically locked in. But thoughts on Bristol? Didn't get the track. We can see it. Obviously, you won a short track earlier this year at the Coliseum. Obviously, a bit different than this is. But thoughts on Bristol? You didn't get the track. We can see you take home a checkered flag.
I mean, it's shorter of one of the more shorter tracks on the schedule, as you said. It's high banked, which is more akin to what I like. Even more so if the car is on the looser side. If I could drag that right rear arc quarter panel on the wall like I do in the late models, any of the other dirt tracks on the service, I'll be a happy camper. So, but Bristol's definitely plays strategy. It's really hard to try and undercut the field because you're not just going one down. You could be going 2-3 laps down if you're trying to undercut. So it's dangerous to try to have a little bit of strategy there, but I definitely think it's going to be something a little bit into my wheelhouse. I'll set up depending and ultimately repairs depending as well.
Well, obviously, hope we get that wheel fixed. Obviously, it is ABN tradition. If anyone want to thank family, friends, sponsors, whatever, the floor is yours. Take it away.
I'll start off Tombstone. All the guys over there. Seth once again still battling with that issue on his end, but Davey, he's still showing up every week, and we still try to communicate, and that's all that matters. Whether we have broken wheels, broken computers, or when it comes to Davey, sometimes from a broken wheel. Love you, Davey. But we just try to have the best time what we can have week in and week out. And if it wasn't for those guys, it's obviously find where your friends are, and that's a home for me. Smith Racing Designs for having the paint, having the Twisted Metal scheme for this year. I love repping one of my favorite series. You guys here at ABN for having us on YouTube now, which I know is a little bit more user friendly for some of our folks back home. And then obviously everybody here in the ARCS Racing series for coming along to race, as well as anybody that does stuff in the background. And then obviously friends, family, and anybody that roots me on, or any of us on for that matter. We'll see y'all at Bristol. Everybody, have a good one.
Thank talking to your Brandon Proudfoot. Obviously, you have a good rest of your week, and obviously you got some broadcast experience, so you know how to sign these things off. So anyway, you take care. Sir. Have a good rest of your week.
You as well.
And that was our third place finisher, Brandon Proudfoot, and that's going to bring us up nicely to our second place finisher. Obviously, second sucks, and his team boss would share the same sentiment. It's going to be John Hagan. We'll hear his thoughts now. John, this is Kevin in the ABM booth. You got a copy?
I do.
Obviously, you are a bit heartbroken right now. It's still a great run, though, but you can't take anything bad, but obviously, second sucks. But first of all, we'll have to start off with the beginning of the race. Obviously, you looked dominant through stage one. You looked that car was on rail, so I feel like you were just Kansas is a track in your wheelhouse, I assume, because you just looked like you were on rails in that first stage.
I had figured something out about this place and this car that really doesn't translate to any other car, and I did it through some studying and putting some laps down, and I think I had it pretty close. I didn't get it all the way because I wasn't perfect, I guess. I'd missed my line a couple times, but it was good enough to hold off the guys on the top after 15-ish laps. So, I mean, I like this place anyway. It's just I had ran this completely different than I would in any other car.
Moving on, we obviously saw in the first stage, you obviously got good. And in the second stage, we saw you drift back after that late caution. And then kind of going through the thoughts, we saw in the final stage, you were carving your way through like a hot knife through butter. So I guess to take the thought, maybe a two-part question here. First off, in that final stage, you were just aggressive driving. So how was that car in the aero? Because you really had to make that thing work. And secondly, when it came to that final pit stop and you saw cars peeling off, you went for the undercut, but you're thinking maybe taking that undercut a little bit earlier and possibly even taking 2 tires?
Oh, I knew 2 tires would work. I just didn't think they'd work over 30 laps, and Proudfoot was the example. So I gambled on 4, he gambled on 2, and I went right down the middle like I always do, dead center, and it worked. I was able to make up that track position, and I had been better than Billet on tires over a long run. So I was hoping that by undercutting him, he would try and match, and I'd make the ground up, and then by the end of the run, he wouldn't have anything for me. And that was pretty much the case, minus when I had to get around Proudfoot. I caught him at a really bad time. I really wanted to catch him with a run going into entry, but instead I caught him with a run, or without a run coming off exit. And so that killed my momentum, and Millet had everything behind me to make it easy. And then I had to regroup, and he was running the top, and I really loved the bottom, so that made it easier, I guess. He probably could have made my life harder by running the bottom, but it was everything I had there as soon as I grabbed his left rear, I was like, all right, this is it. We're going for it. And we were side by side for what, 3-4 laps.
Yeah, no,
And
we
I
were
hope
watching up in the booth, and you were just like, you were on that. Once you got on that corner bell, I knew it's going to be game on. It's going to be race on. And I guess before you spoil my next question, I'll just ask it now. In turn, final lap there, final lap. Take us through your thoughts on that process.
I left it a bit earlier and entered a tiny bit higher than I normally had been doing because I wanted to run down the hill. And old tires, I was tight. I really didn't play it perfect. He was able to get to my door, and we sort of got glued. And I was like, I'm not lifting, and I know he wasn't lifting either. So we ended up squeezing it into the fence, so we kept it straight. And the one thing I really should have done was bring it all the way to the grass, come to the stripe. That's the only thing, looking back on this, that I would have done different. I don't think he would have killed my momentum as much as he did when he came back down to side draft, and he just got it, like just barely got it. So if I were to do one thing different, I think I would take it to the grass. But other than that, that was pretty much exactly how I planned it.
Yeah, you can't be mad at that. Again, you're respectful. No one wrecked each other, and you both kept the finish for a 1-2. You can't be mad at that at all. Moving on, obviously, you still had a good cushion coming into the night, and obviously you'll continue to grow that. Bearing any horrible collapses, you should be on the next round, but still, thoughts on Bristol as a track? Do you think it's a track we'll see you have some success at and maybe break this losing streak that you have kind of festered, which is a rare thing to say in your case?
This is not my strongest track, Bristol. So I'm good at it. I'm not great at it. So obviously, point situation is only going to require me to finish 20th or something probably. So I'm not too worried. I might even be locked in. I really don't know. It's just going to be a clean race, put it together, get through the next round. If we have speed to go for the win, we're going to do it.
And obviously, we'll see if that all plays out. Lastly, just checking something right now as well. But lastly, one more quick question as well. Thoughts on a little inside joke here, but thoughts on East Carolina? You think it's a school we can see you take the Army to win against?
Yes.
All right.
Go Army.
Go Army, indeed. Well, maybe not. We'll see how that battle plays out. But a little inside joke there, because why not? You've asked almost every question on the Sun through all these broadcasts. Why not ask you a football one? But in turn, ABN Tradition. Does anyone want to thank? Family, friends, sponsors, whatever. The floor is yours. Take it away.
Shout out my beautiful girlfriend. She's wonderful. She supports me every time I do one of these. Shout out everybody at Beatron. They didn't have the greatest luck today, but it was still a wonderful race. Shout out everybody at ABN, you, Kevin, and everybody else behind the scenes who put on this wonderful, amazing broadcast. Y'all did awesome. Shout out everybody at ARCS that put this together, and shout out for Millet for being the fastest paid in my side that I've ever raced. But it was fun racing him, and he raced me clean, so that was awesome.
Well, great talking again, John Hagan. You and take the rest of the night. Enjoy yourself, and hopefully, we'll talk. Bearing any strange miracles, we'll be talking for the end of the season. But if not, you take care. Have a good rest of your week.
Thank you.
And that was our second place finisher, John Hagan. Again, second sucks. And that will move us on to our race winner, won by 0.002. Well, hear his thoughts now. Zach Millett won 3 straight when it comes to this playoffs, if I can ever drag his name in. Zach, this is Kevin in the ABM booth. You got a copy?
Hey, Kevin, got a copy.
Obviously, again, you had a great finish overall, but we got to start off at the beginning again and kind of work our way up. But we'll start off the first stage. We saw you were fast. We saw you carving through, but then it seemed like Hagan was faster. So how did you find that extra speed at a track where it seemed like Hagan was just on rails?
Man, I don't know. He had that like mid to late run down to a science. That middle line that he was running, it was working. And I mean, I tried it a handful of times. Whatever stage it was, I was out front. I did a couple attempts, and man, I was like 2.5, 3/10 slower a lap. So I just kind of went back up to the Larson line and was hoping for the best. And I don't know. It was kind of nerve wracking because I knew no matter where he was in the field, he was coming.
You can never count out John Hagan. Obviously, second stage, you were leading, you looked poised to win it, then a caution came out, and then in turn, that derailed. Then in the final stage, you carved it, you got to the lead quick, and you got around it, and you took the distance, and then green flag pit stops occurred. And I got to ask this question because we saw cars peeling in, and you came in right to cover off Hagan. So take us through that mindset of that pit stop. Was the main goal, once you saw Hagan coming in, you were going to cover off? Were you going to come in once you hit your magical number? And in turn, was 4 tires always the call, or were you thinking maybe take 2 at some point?
I was a 2-tire pit stop for sure until I saw what Hagan was turning when he came out. I was trying to keep track of what he was turning lap wise, so I kind of had an idea what he did. And my crew chief, Chris Goins, was really keeping me in the loop of things. And yeah, once I saw his lap times and we kind of discussed it, it was take 4 or die pretty much. And I had a feeling Proudfoot was going to take the 2, man. I thought for sure when we came back out and I saw the gap between us, I thought he did it to us again. But yeah, we started catching 3/4 tenths a lap. We were cruising, and I was really just trying to get to Hagen. I was really pushing as hard as I can just to get a sniff of that draft and just kind of hang with him and make a run at it. But yeah, it was really fun, man. I'm still breathing pretty heavy.
I mean, yeah, we saw that. It was basically one of those good old Kansas finishes. And obviously, yeah, you also watched the product. Good for you, because we saw, obviously, Proudfoot do it at Nashville, and you didn't want to fall dupe to that. Moving on, we saw you get the lead, you got around, and we thought it was curtains, but then Hagen was hanging on, and he was getting back, getting close. So take us those last couple laps from your perspective and what was happening between you and Hagen, the photo finish you had.
It was so funny, man. I'm telling you, I think me pushing to try to get to Hagen, it kind of equalized our tires a little bit. And yeah, I got out, in front of the both of those guys, and for about a second only, I was pretty excited about it. And then I saw him start running that line again, and man, he's there again. I mean, whatever we've put on these tires, it must have been to that point, because he started gaining and he got to my quarter panel and he was running me real tight, which he was doing a perfect job. And it was a pretty helpless feeling knowing that he passed me, whatever stage, first stage or second stage. And yeah, I did all I could do to hang on that quarter panel is outside, and it was a hell of a finish, man.
Oh, it was. We saw you beating Meg, and I'm like, they're either going to wreck each other coming to the line, or it's going to be one of those photo finishes. I'm glad it was the latter, and no one is then upset at each other. Moving on, you've obviously won the last 3 races of the playoffs here. I think that's probably a record. No driver's won 3 in a row at the start of the playoffs, so congratulations on you, but obviously some ARCS historians will be definitely on me if I got that wrong. But moving on, Bristol, do you think it's a track we'll see you go 4 straight at? And in turn, do you think you're on such a wave of momentum right now that you can't be stopped?
I don't know, man. It's this league is just, they have just too many fast guys. Momentum definitely helps, though. It makes you feel a little bit better going into it. Even if it is Bristol, I feel like it's kind of a flippable coin if you're going to survive or not. But we'll put some time in. And man, this week I was kind of nervous about this race because I really didn't get as much practice as I wanted to get. Just work has been nuts, and got down here and tried to jump in practice and get some laps in the best we could. And I don't know, it's tough every Sunday night, especially in summer. So I'm hoping we get the practice.
I will ask, obviously, just quickly because it caught to my mind, what was a harder battle here? Racing back from last at Watkins Glen or racing here at Kansas? What was the harder of the 2 weeks so far, the past 2 weeks?
Oh, man, harder. It had to be Kansas all day. I mean, even if I'm going, from the back at Watkins Glen, I'm doing it with a big smile on my face. I love turning right. That's my favorite thing to do. So that was way more fun to me.
All right. Well, obviously, it is ABN tradition. If there's anyone you want to thank, family, friends, sponsors, whatever, the floor is yours. Take it away.
Yeah, Kevin, I'd like to thank you and ABN for the broadcast, as always. ARCS. I got to give a shout out to HBR TV, hbrtv1.com, Track Bar Media, Track Bar Motorsports, Castle Pax Power. Big shout out to Chris Goins for spotting me. Big shout out to Chris Elliott for having the softest hands in iRacing. And yeah, shoot me a follow over on Twitch at ThatIsForGuy.
All right, great talk, Zach Miller. Obviously, you've been here the past 3 weeks. I would not be a bet man if I didn't say there's a good chance we see it become 4 next week. But if not, you take care. Have a good rest of your week.
You too, man. Thank you.
And that was Zach Millett, our race winner. And after that will lead these interviews to a close. So obviously, we're going to take a quick kind of debrief here before we hit the end of this session here, as we'll move him out and we'll get on. So obviously, we'll go over the details here and go over the information, but obviously Zach Millett locked himself into the Rex round. Next week is the cutoff race. It is Bristol. After tomorrow, after next week, we will cut the field from 12 into 8, and to give you, obviously, aren't updated points. We'll do the math next week, but we'll show you right now, obviously, looking at that round of 12, and the drivers in poise, we'll actually zoom that in so we don't see the round of 16. There we go. Right there, you can see, obviously, these aren't updated points. These aren't what we're looking at, but obviously, Oberstadt not here tonight. Sears, Wanzing, all having a bit of trouble there near the end. Braille finishing a bit poor to the finish line. This is going to be interesting how it shakes up and how the math goes. Some drivers like Oberstadt will probably be in must-wins. Obviously, Millet locked himself in, and a few others like Feather Place. He had a bit of a poor run, one lap down. He may be in a must-win or at least a good finish next week. And as his playoffs go on, the rounds get harder. Well, let's take a look at the playoffs as well real fast. They just right in the calendar. As you can see, Bristol, we're only got 4 weeks left going next week. Bristol, the round of 12 cutoff, Talladega, Michigan, then Homestead. And that will crown a championship on September 1st. So make sure you tune in for the wacky world of August, and we'll see these drivers battle it out. And once the fall leaves, the summer ends, the kids are going back to school, we'll crown a champion here on ABN Studios on YouTube. So make sure you tune in all that. It will all be 7 p.m. Eastern for all those races and all those festivities as well. So overall, thank you for tuning us here on this evening. It's been a great race, a fun encounter as well. I'd like to thank everyone as well, and obviously just quickly flash out as well. Don't think sadly the graphic turned on, but DSR Bugs Posery for sponsoring the podium interviews as well, along with JTG Pole as well. Can't talk today. JTT for pole qualifying as well. Just want to thank them as we didn't get those sponsors on the screen when stuff was supposed to load on, as we were dealing with some technical difficulties before the stream started. But regardless, thank you for tuning in. See you here next week as we see the field go from 12 to 8. And until then, you all the viewers at home, take care and have a good rest of your weekends. See you later.